All right, so here we go. We're going to get this podcast started. My name is Devin K. Shashi Christensen, and this podcast is about my dream that I want to do. And this book that I just wrote, it's very music related. It's my top 10 bands as well as 3 underrated. And then it talks about my health and how music has become such a huge part of my life. And the previous podcast was about my health trials I've had, and that's one reason why music has been such a huge blessing to me. I basically started this podcast just because I was going to do it, but it has taken quite a while just because I wanted to try to get my book out there, and it's pretty complicated since I do have health issues. Like right now I am on hemodialysis, which is basically dialysis, and there's a catheter that goes right into my chest, and I talked about it in my previous podcast, and so I guess that's where we'll start. So if you want to follow me along, you can watch the podcast, or if you want to do it on your phone, if you're actually listening to the podcast and not on YouTube. Anyways, my website that I have is user friendly. So here we go. We're gonna open up my Google Chrome here, and we're gonna go to Liquide Sessiøns, and so it's www.liquidesessions.com. So go there. This will pull up. And so Pitchography is the name of my book. And the reason I called it Pitchography, I'll talk about really quick again, is Pitchography, basically because this is a pitch to Sir Richard and Holly Branson, that are the virgin exemplars, of that huge virgin empire. It's ginormous, and my dream is a musician's resort that is both public and private, and it's huge. I have the layout all done. Everything's cost out to the penny. I did this for my culinary capstone. So I'm a chef as well, and I just took it to the max. I wanted to do it. I had time. I wasn't employed at the time during school because I wanted to focus on that. Like I was a little bit, actually. I was working at a cafe up on the point of the mountain in Utah, golf course there, and I was a chef there. So I did that part-time as well once I got out, and partly between, I guess, too. Anyways, graduated from the Art Institute of Salt Lake City, and so this isn't anything part of it. This is just something different that I decided to do, but it sort of spawned from there a little bit. And so Pitchography is the name of the book. So it's like a pitch, and then an ography, like a biography or an autobiography, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's an autobiography since I'm talking, but it's also a podcast because it's going to be talking about other stuff besides this after I do a read-through, just because it's something I wanted to do. Anyways, so that's what that is. But we're going to start my health chapter just because I want to give you guys an idea of how much music means to me and how much it has played a part in my life, and it always will. I love music, and you'll see my top 10. I talked about it a little bit, but you can always, jump ahead and read. But we're going to jump into my health chapter, so we'll click on that. Actually, hold on, we'll jump back here really quick. So this is the website. Come down, go into sync in, that jumps right into the top 10. And so there's a preview of that really quick if you want to see that and 3 underrated bands. This is a video they can check out, and it's called Liquide Air Insta. I'll play it really quick, a little bit, I'll fast forward it because there's people watching, or listening to the podcast, and so I guess I could explain what's on it. It's got some crazy pictures of my health and then some bands I was with, and it just goes on. There's Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars, 303, and then it goes into my signed posters, memorabilia, and so it's doing that. But jump down, you can put in your name in here, in your address, and once I start updating stuff, I'll let you know. And then there is I have a tagline that says, "We don't sell your shit," so we don't. I'm just sending out cool things or interesting things once I get everything going. It takes a while because I'm sort of doing it one-handed right now. I have some friends that have helped me, and I'll probably ask for some more friends' help if they want to join in, and they can also jump on this podcast if we've been to concerts together, or if they just want to talk about music or whatever, tech or something cool. Anyways, on here, on the website, it shows a Day to Remember's tour, and it's their 15-year tour, and they're doing it with Papa Roach, Fallen in Verse, and Devil Wears Prada. And so that's what that tour is below, and I'll switch it to different artists I'd like to go to, or cool tours. Anyways, so guys, we'll jump into the health really quick. So we'll come down here. I already did health 1. This is me as a baby. I was adopted in India, and the rest of my family is adopted from all over the world. But this is me as a little baby, and I sort of look like a little alien. And that nurse that was there, there's a picture that we lost, but it has my nurse, and she was holding her thumb up to my foot, and it was the same size, so it gives you some context. Plus, I was like 2 pounds in, what was it, 3 or 4 ounces I dropped because I got the chicken pox. Anyways, you can read about that in there, but we're on health part 2. So here we go, click in here. So in this health part 2, there's different hashtags, talked about that, but I'll talk about it really quick again, just because you're seeing it. I don't know if I'll go back and do the video, because it might take some time to do that, and I just want to get everything going, but I'll probably go back and do it just because I want you guys to see it as well for the people. But this health part 2, the hashtags basically will be like a puzzle and contest that I'll be doing once I get enough people following me, and it will lead to cool prizes and VIP treatments to this place. Once this goes through, I want it to change the world ultimately, but I'll get into that once we get going here, because we have people listening, and they want to probably hear this health part 2. I do want to say that these chapters, I'm not sure how well I will do getting through them, because they are pretty intense, of what happened in my life. It was pretty shitty, and my memories obviously are different. I know how it had helped me now, but then it was pretty intense, and so it gets a little intense again. I might take a couple of breaks. There might be a pause, like there is right now, just on the YouTube. But yeah, I'll jump through this, and I'll have a cool commentary. It's sort of something different. There are some chapters once I get into the bands that are specifically for the podcast, and it'll be sort of interesting to see what happens, because I'm doing it sort of live, like I'm not redoing it at all. I did mess up like twice before, just because I was rambling about something that didn't really matter, sort of like I am now, but sort of giving you context, because this is the first video for it, if I don't go back and do the other one. So yeah, the hashtags also can mean a quote, depending on what I want to do, an emphasis on a word, or I just thought the hashtag looked cool. I don't know. That's sort of what I try to do. I tried to give this a different feel and aesthetic. I made it all black and white as far as the background, if you guys go to this website and you're following along. But here we go. So it says hashtag Y2K crash ? And then hashtag nah body 2K crash. And so yeah, my body like pretty much crashed during the whole crisis of 1999 and the computers freaking out because no one put in a code for 2 extra zeros. They only did 2 spaces, and so instead they needed 4. And I don't know, there's a huge like crisis and everybody thought the world was going to end and all this weird shit, like basically that the nukes were going to go off and that they were going to fire because for some reason the error would happen. I don't know, that's what I got from it. I'm not really sure, but during that time my body went through some interesting things. So here we go. So I wrote this in real time on this date, which is December 12th 2013 at 11:26 p.m. Oh damn, it's almost 11:26 here. It's 11:14 Mountain Standard Time. January 25th is when I'm doing this right now. So yeah, it will be live in the sense that it is right then, but it won't be live as in like YouTube and things like that, because I got to get a camera. I could use my phone, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to set it up, and I'd rather like wait and purchase something and have this this screen recording good. And all right, so here we go. Starting artist Copeland, hashtag testing the strong ones, and that was repeated. So I listened to that 5 times, and I did that while I was writing this. This picture right here was on, I think, one of the operating tables. Can't remember which surgery it was after. Actually, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, this picture is sort of interesting. So I took this this last year, 2017. I think this was on my second surgery, and I'll get into that just for this year. I had quite a few surgeries for 2017, but this one was actually around the time of Chris Connell of Soundgarden. Or let's see, did I say that wrong? I can't even type right now. Chris Cornell. God, sorry. I don't know why I say Connell, but yeah, Chris Cornell. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I'll apologize right now. Anyways, it was around the time that he had passed away. And so I was sitting there, and the guys wanted to ask me. They put in this port here really quick. I'll just show you really quick. I didn't even actually talk about that, and I was supposed to. Sorry, guys. It's really get sidetracked when you do things live. But I'll open that again. But this port right here, I'm showing people online, but it's a hemodialysis port, and this port goes straight into my heart. It rests like right next to it, and I think that was one of the pictures I was telling everybody to do that I was gonna check out. This was my first time that I had this. This was before I had my first kidney, so I'm on my second kidney because my first one failed. But this was right when I had to have my peritoneal catheter, which is right here in your stomach, and it goes in the side of your stomach, and it goes into a lining of your sac that's around your stomach. Pretty much, it's your peritoneal lining, and so that's what's called peritoneal dialysis. And it's really weird how it works. It works with like osmosis pretty much through your layer, and it goes in there, and it's pretty much sugar water that gets pumped for they usually do it overnight through a machine that you can do at your home, and it makes your stomach really big, and it cycles through let's see, I think it's 5 liters, depending on, how much you want to do. So 5 liters going back and forth through your stomach overnight, and then deposits, and you put in a bucket, basically, and then you put that, after that, it stinks because it's toxin, so it's sort of smelly, so you have to clean it. I did mine every once a week with bleach, and then anyways, you dump it, but this goes into your stomach. And so for the people that are listening, I had to have 2 ports on my body because I had to have this one heal, and so I had to still do this because you have to do dialysis 3 times a week for about 4.5 hours, usually is when you get out, and so it's pretty much a part-time job, and so I'm unemployed right now, just doing this podcast. Hopefully I get some money, and I have my dream come true, and then I'll have a lot of money, and then I'll be able to help out a bunch of people. Like, I've been blessed and helped out as well. So I did this. This was in October 7th, 2011. I had the quote that dialysis is a bitch, and then it has online, I'm a survivor of 17 treatments of chemotherapy. I have SLE Lupus, and I've had 4 hip replacements and some other shit. I still have this one right here on my chest. It is a newer one, obviously, because I've had my transplant, and that lasted 3 years, and it failed. But I've had this on. Actually, that's wrong. It wasn't November 3rd, 2017. It was actually... Wait, was it November 3rd? I thought it was earlier than that. I thought it was in, July. Maybe not. But I'm currently on hemodialysis, and I'm waiting my second kidney transplant. And so, anyways, that was what I was going to talk about really quick right there. And so that's what my health is right now. But this is before all of that. This is when I was young. And when I was 16. I just turned 16 when all this other stuff started happening. So I'll jump into that really quick, as this is the chapter I'm talking about. And I've been rambling again. It's sort of hard. I think subconsciously I'm wanting to delay that talking about it because it's going to be hard. I don't want to relive it. And it was really hard writing it because I didn't want to relive it. You'll see what it's talking about as I read this live. So this picture, it's just an operating table. There's 6 monitors. Top right one shows my blood pressure, my heartbeat, and my oxygen, and my pulse. All the question marks, obviously, that hooked me up. I asked if I could take a picture of the operating table right before I jumped on. And so anyways, I was listening. It had been a day right after Soundgarden. And that was sort of crazy. And so I had them put on Spoon Man for me, and that was pretty cool listening to that right before I got knocked out, because the anesthesiologists, they're all cool, they're sitting there, they'd seen that I had a previous transplant, and I remembered them, but they didn't remember me putting in my other one that I had. And so sort of interesting picture. And online you can see that it's all looks like there's a bunch of Polaroids without the white part, just taken and stacked all weird in the abstract. So this one, here we go. So it's on health. It says, after the initial biopsy, hashtag the results are in. This was January 2002. My doctor would always try and make things light and happy even in the worst times. I remember very vividly looking up at the insignia above the doorway as I stepped through it. And so the insignia I meant was this was at Children's Mercy in Kansas City, Missouri. So just their logo. Jump in here really quick and show you. Let's see. Kansas City, Missouri, Children's Mercy. And so, this logo, let's see, it's got like a kid, a father or mother with a kid. You know, I guess they're not any gender because they're just a sex. Let's see if we can just type in logo, see if it will pop up. And so they had this logo. It wasn't this one though. This is their newer one. So you can see online, I don't know, but it's basically, it looks like a crown, you could think about it like a halo, like cut in half on its side, so like a rainbow. Basically, yeah, so like a rainbow with another rainbow inside of it with a star point coming out like 8, and it goes into like a crown with like huge, I guess, ornaments, I would say. Anyways, it was like that, but it had white and yellow on top. And so anyways, it said Children's Mercy. And so as I walked through there, I could feel a dark energy, a distraughtness that was about to happen. And so he always came in very cheerful, my doctor, and he would compliment me on my fossil watch that my mother and father had given me on my 16th birthday, just barely over a month ago. So I was born November 26th, so this was very soon to, my adolescence happening. I was going to be able to drive. I was turning 16, but instead I was going through all this stupid stuff. So barely over a month ago, he complimented me on my watch a tiny bit more than usual. Man, I got to get one of those. I would then brag to him that it was a 3-dial one that glowed in the dark. He was impressed, and I was happy that he was intrigued about how fucking classy I was. Oh, this is going well, right? He then explained that I had systemic lupus erythematosus. Yeah, it's a tongue twister if you can't get that down. But I didn't know what to feel or think. I didn't know what it was, and neither did my mom, really. But more than me, I looked at my mother's eyes, and she was horrified. I knew that this was going to be bad. The medical jargon for this is lupus erythematosus is the name given to a collection of autoimmune diseases in which a human immune system becomes hyperactive and attacks normal healthy tissues. Symptoms of this particular disease can affect many different body systems, including joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells, heart, and lungs. Lupus erythematosus may manifest as a systemic disease or a purely cutaneous form, also known as incomplete lupus erythematosus, aka SLE, which, lucky me, I had. The main difference was that SLE Lupus also attacks the nervous system. The course of the disease is very unpredictable, with periods of illness, aka flares, #flares, alternating with #remissions. The disease occurs 9 times more often in men than in women, or in women than in men. 9 times more often in women than in men. So that was awesome too. When I heard this news at 16, it was a terminal disease for someone of my age back then. The doctors did their best to save my life and my kidneys, as my kidneys were the main part that were destroyed by the SLE lupus. They explained it in a very good way. It went something like this. Your kidneys are like a block of Swiss cheese, and your blood, protein, vital nutrients are passing through these holes and not retaining in your body. Your white blood cells that fight off infection and your red blood cells that provide oxygen are often at war. The red blood cells are destroying your white blood cells, then attacking vital organs, in this case, your kidneys. They began to tell me that chemotherapy in the form of Cytoxan would be administered immediately. I was like, isn't that for breast cancer? I was pretty interested about what was going on, or what was going to be happening to my body. I still am. as I should be. The doctor explained, yes, but this works differently. See those holes in your kidney I talked to you about? The radiation helps make those holes turn into cracks, #large divots over time. I remember the first treatment like it was yesterday, and it still haunts my dreams. It strikes me right to my core to think about it. # for the book, for the people. So basically, like, yeah, the large divots and cracks, basically, like, I don't know if you've seen pictures of like a San Andreas fault, but think of like that. The earth is my kidneys, and there's huge cracks and different holes and different things like that. And so all the nutrients are just going through it. And so that's why they decided to administer chemo, which now is a treatment that is used. And so, yeah, that treatment, we arrived at Children's Mercy, and they do the usual routine of obtaining your vitals and some blood. Then the IV came. Oh man, my hands were sort of shaking as I was typing this, as I'm reliving how fucking crazy the whole day was. It changed my life forever. Remember, I hate needles. I could not look at needles. I hate them. The first nurse stuck me. Got it? Nope. It blew. Which I found out that would mean that the vein ruptures or gets punctured, causing blood to leak outside the vein, making it useless. Alright. Tighten the band. Slap, slap, slap. Okay. Looks like this one will work. Second stick. It hurts. # I'm screaming in my head. Then the tears start to come. Sort of like right now. My awesome mother there holding my hand. The third stick. By this time there are 3 nurses with their giant rubber bands slapping the fuck out of my body. 4th stick. By this time I have my head in my pillow as I'm trying not to scream. Be strong, I tell myself. I can do this. I can. Now my feet are next. They asked me to stop shaking if I can. What kind of fucking question is that? I'm thinking. I couldn't. I cannot. The 5th stick happens. My mom's hands blue from me squeezing it so hard. I guess this is torture at its best. 6th stick happens. I'll never forget. I hear a faint scream, as I'm almost delirious. It comes full circle, and it was mom saying, "Stop! Just stop! Can't you see he's in pain?" As she's crying with me. As I'm crying right now again. # fuck this chapter. We're not even to the chemo part yet. My mom then asked to see my doctor. He heard a nice earful from my mom, as well as other parents in other rooms with their kids, hearing my fucking screams. From then on, only the life flight EMTs could place my lines. My body is inflamed. It's red, which is a hard color to happen on a brown person. My body is pulsing hard everywhere, like just thumping. My IV is finally in. They take my blood pressure. It spiked as fuck because I was indirectly / directly tortured, you pick. I was sitting up in my bed, looking around and just wondering what kind of world I had just been transported to. Hashtag bright lights, monitors beeping, people hush talking. No one knew what to expect except the doctors, or so I thought. The doctors came in and asked 2 questions before hashtag testing the strong ones, hashtag scarring the beautiful ones. And that's from Copeland, that previous song that I told you I was listening to during this chapter. It's pretty intense. You guys should check it out. Anyways, the first question they asked was very unnatural, and a very unnatural one. Experienced at 16. Before we administer cytoxin, would you like to go over the options of freezing your sperm? Wait, what? Why would I need to do that? Well, Devin, the chemo will hinder your ability to ever have children. Wait. I won't be able to have kids, I stuttered. I looked to my mother for closure, assurance, as I did many times during my journey. She looked to me and asked me what I wanted to do, as she was trying to hold back tears and be strong too. They explained to me a little more thorough, and it was very expensive to freeze them. I usually did things with faith and would reply with an unsure okay. Who knows when I would have kids? I was fucking 16. However, this time I didn't feel unsure. I'd always felt that since I was adopted and blessed to be an American citizen, that I would return the favor for some lucky kid as well. I did, however, start to cry a little bit, but knowing what I knew now, I probably would have broken down even more. But I still wanted to be resilient, even though a huge part of me literally just died. So yeah, it was quite a bit of money to, freeze your sperm. Like it'd be, I think it was, 500, let's see, what was it? I think it was like $500, a month. Or it might have been 300. I think it was 300, So times that by 12 and then times that by 33, which I am now. So it would be over like $118,000, like when I guess I felt like I wanted to have kids or, would have done that, that would have been pretty young, probably like in my 20s, and so with that, so even then, 300 times 12 and then times that by say 25, it would have been $90,000, and mostly freaking thing. Sorry that popped up, guys. Thought it'd go away because I was playing with that notification. But yeah, it would have been just a hell of a lot of money to do that. And so I wasn't able to afford that. The insurance wasn't going to pay that. So yeah, like I didn't feel like that would have been good, but it was still complicated. Just to feel everything like that when I was 16. Sorry, just take a drink of water. I'm getting a little thirsty. So, next in this chapter, it's a song change. And it goes to Negative Space, Priest in the Matador by Senses Fail. This song has a very particular place in my heart. The intro into the next song was amazing, as well as the whole message of the song. People think that swearing is just juvenile and that the person has nothing better to say. I'm here to tell you the part where #Buddy says, a man bends down and says, son, we're gonna get through this one. Take my hand and let us pray. I scream, please get the fuck away. You'll understand once you have been through an experience that questions your faith in your whole world. And that's what I just said. And I believe that, like that song right during that time, and when I was writing this, it was like perfect. It was like amazing, like the music gods I reference to when I was writing this book. It was just insane, like the coincidences that you could say. Was it a coincidence? I don't know, but maybe, or maybe not. Maybe it was just supposed to happen. Like, it was really weird, like all the weird things that happened when I was writing this. And so I totally believe that, like, the reason I guess I don't believe that it makes you unintelligent. They actually have said that in different articles, that it makes you more intelligent when you cuss, because your vernacular and your vocabulary, which that is, it's just broadened and it's bigger because you use different words and you try to find different words. Since I consider myself a writer. I mean, you guys could say it was a blog, but this book took a while to do just because I really did want to publish and I wanted things to happen. And so I'm sort of getting off topic, and that's probably my subconscious again. Like, it's going to be pretty intense, like, once we start getting into this. And people that are watching it probably read ahead, and I don't know. So yeah, you'll understand, like, that song, if you're listening to it, is pretty intense, and it was perfect for this. And so onto the book again. Here we go. I had no idea what to expect and what was about to happen. The second question: Devin, we are going to administer the cytoxin now. We will be leaving and someone will be coming in to give you your first treatment. Are you ready? As that door shut and everyone disappeared, I'd never felt so alone in my life, or so I thought. The person came in. It was like a horror movie, dressed up to the toe in radioactive gear. Gloves, shoes, mask, the whole 9 yards. They then switched over the bag to pump the radiation into my body. I laid back, my head against my pillow, looking up at the IV line. I see it slowly creep down. It looks like death. Right then and there, no one was in the room, and I felt so alone. I watched it go into my wrist. It felt like a gateway to hell just opened up in my entire body. It was on fire. I put my face in the pillow and let it all out. If I could compare it to any screaming feeling, probably like the used greener with the scenery breakdown at 2:29, where Bert is going berserk and destroying the fuck out of that music studio on repeat for an eternity, but intensifying more and more each and every heartbeat. The treatment was finally over, now pumping me with fluid for rehydration. #cleanse was next. Never in my life has cold fluid running through my body felt so refreshing. I just wanted to jump into a frozen pool Zofran was next for my nausea, then some other medications injected. I awoke the next morning, checked on my mother before she awoke. I make my way to the bathroom to go number 2. I grab my glasses, try to put them on. Something was wrong. I flip on the light to my horrific sight. I literally looked like the Nutty Professor, Eddie Murphy edition, but in the most emotionally crippling, what the fuck just happened to me, depressing, heart-dropping way. I did not know how to react. I just woken up and I thought it was a dream. I sat there in speechlessness. I then had one of the most torrential teardown downpours. Torrential teardown downpours I've ever had like what's happening right now. I had screamed "Mom" at the top of my fucking lungs. She came running into the bathroom. She looked at me, and I saw the extreme horror on her face, her eyes, everything. I fell to the floor trying to comprehend what the fuck just happened to me. My mom then sprinted out of the room to find a nurse, a doctor. Who the hell ever to come to my aid? It took a while, as it was probably shift changes at 5 or 6 a.m. I remember because the sun had barely just rose and woke me. A nurse came sprinting in, and she looked at me and did not even say shit. She then sprinted the fuck out of the room to find a doctor. My mother then came into the bathroom and just held me. Shit, I have tears where your chest is also compressing right now. Full body. Musical gods did it again. Song change. Lydia Hospital. Hashtag all I see scares me. Scares me. Scares me. Hashtag I'll never ever leave there. I'll never leave. The doctor came in and was also speechless at first, but then told me I had to get back in bed and they needed to check me out. They did a bunch of vitals, x-rays, and came to the conclusion that I retained all of my fluid overnight, which came out to 10 pounds of water weight overnight. Yeah, it stretched the fuck out of my skinny Indian body. The only way for me to expel the excess fluid was by urinating. I slowly saw my body go back to now a hashtag disfigured Devon. The original title was Health Chapter Part 2.2. And then it says next Friday, November 17th, 2017. So this is when I launched it, and I did it every Friday. Man, sorry. So we're just wiping my eyes a little bit here. Yeah, so I guess we'll jump to the next part, which is the health continued part. Some of you can see on here, if you guys want to follow along, you can see these scars. So the scars that were from that, I have them all over my body. I'll probably show some pictures of different ones, more than likely. This big one you see was actually from a nephrectomy, which is later. And a nephrectomy is where they take out your transplanted kidney, basically because it died and it inflamed, and this huge little hernia thing doesn't give it justice to how big and inflamed my stomach was. You can see this like line right here, and so it went from here, if you're following along, all the way down to about, right above my crotch and all the way around. But we'll jump into this health continued part 2.2, which, I actually decided to keep the title because, I didn't want to change it to what it was. And so we'll start this next chapter in just a second. I'm going to take a drink, though, really quick, everybody. So actually, I don't want you guys to read along. So I'm going to push this down for you people on YouTube. Sorry. But I'm going to take a drink really quick. All right. So this next part, for everybody listening and everything, I haven't really told anybody this. If you read along, you obviously know what happened, and if you read the Pitchography or anything like that. But I'm not sure how many people really read it, because when I was looking at it, like the statistics through Squarespace that you can do now is pretty awesome, and it didn't really say where they read it and things like that. I guess I could look more into it, but yeah, I haven't told anybody anything about this or out loud, to the whole fucking world or whoever is listening. But but here we go. I am now. So let's see. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. I had lost I had lost all my hope, #faith, in many parts of my life during those first treatments. I always wanted to stay invincible for my mom, my family, my friends. And man, the tears are streaming. I'm such a fucking baby in these chapters, sorry. I just wanted all to go the fuck away. And that came out in many lyrics that I wrote while I was getting my #16 treatments of chemotherapy at #Children's Mercy in Kansas City, Missouri. There's no cure for SLE. It is treated with immunosuppression, mainly with cyclophosphamide, aka Cytoxan, or corticosteroids or other immunosuppressants. SLE can be fatal. The leading cause of death is from cardiovascular disease due to accelerated atherosclerosis. Survival for people with SLE in the United States, Canada, and Europe has risen to approximately 95%. 5 years, 90%. At 10 years, 78%. At 20 years. So, I'm pretty far. I'm over a decade. Anyways, it's 10:10 p.m. when I read there's no cure for SLE. I've been staring at my screen for over 26 minutes. It's now 10:36 p.m. of December 13th, 2013. Yes, I have had to do this chapter in sections. My heart is heavy and struggling. Shit, man. Oh, okay. I don't know how to write this without making this. Fuck, my hands are shaking. Teeth are chattering. My heart is dropping. Stomach turn. Okay, here we go. I remember overhearing my pediatric rheumatologist telling my mom to watch me very, very closely, carefully, because I could commit suicide over this disease. With all of my body changes at such a young age, it was more common than not that teens would do this. And then in parentheses, it says, "Father, you're too late. My faith is weak, so won't you save your half-hearted speech?" And that's from that song, Senses Fail, Priest in the Matador. Hashtag sorry, Mom. Well, the doctor was right. Everything in my life started out as simmers, then went to boiling over and evaporating before my eyes within a year. I just met the love of my adolescent Romeo-Julia relationship. Had lost my virginity to her. Rumors flew. Everyone was involved that didn't need to be because of my parents' hierarchy in the church at the time. I was then disfellowshipped from my church and was told that I could never see my love ever again. On top of, all of my fucking health, life-altering changes full blown at its peak. 0 to a billion real quick. We would sneak out and see each other, and we had to be super fucking clever, as I did not have a car, and neither did she at the time. I used my parents' van, and she would hitch rides with friends if that was not hard enough. It did not help that she lived 45 fucking minutes away either. It was like she was in a different world. We were the envious couple at all of the church dances. Our chemistry was fairy tale like. Everything that a Disney movie would portray and more. It was my 16th birthday, and I tried to be full of life and not let anything slow me down, even though my empire in quest was crumbling. I threw a murder mystery party and pleaded with her parents, her bishop, for her to attend. They said no. My parents even tried calling and explaining that they would be there and so on. I almost wanted to cancel my party if she was not going to be there. She was my princess and I her prince. I felt abandoned by everyone. I pleaded to God, and no amount of struggle availed me, even to the last second of hope right before my murder mystery. For the first time in my life, everything was hypocritical. I felt outcasted by God, by my life. I tried to live for everyone, but it wasn't enough. One night I had lost it all. I'd lost all hope. What was left? My shitty fucking body. My parents and everyone watching me die. I could. Hashtag, well, this is hard to write. Hashtag, no one in their right mind would ask someone their prequel of suicide. Hashtag, for the book, for the people. could not look myself in the mirror. I could not stare at my scars, touch them, feel how different they were from my normal skin. They just kept becoming longer, wider, deeper, elastic. I would silent cry in my room, bathroom, anywhere. I was an expert at this now. I felt no one would ever love me again, especially in this state in my life. Hashtag I was the arrow shot straight to hell. My mother yelled at me from the bottom of the stairs to come and eat dinner. I did not really feel like it, as I had planned out how I was going to do this. Weeks earlier, how I was going to do this weeks earlier. I came down anyways. I just looked at my family and started to cry. As I looked up at them for what would be my last time, I asked to be excused from the table. As I left, I glanced back at them one more time. Sorry. I told them I was going to go to sleep for quite a while as I was tired. I slowly went up the stairs as I felt like it was my stairway to heaven or hell. Consequently, I told myself I did not want to have any music playing as I did this unspeakable act. The main reason I did not want the artist that had no control over the situation to be associated with it. I believe because earlier, a boy had sadly hung himself while listening to Adam's song by Blink-182. And that wasn't like earlier that day. It was just earlier that I had read about it. Since then and to this day, I can't listen to that song because of that. Interesting enough, I'm editing this chapter the same day that my brother Kenny had taken his life 5 years previously. Love you, Kenny. Hashtag my stomach's in knots. Hashtag I never told anyone the whole story of this. I reach to turn my doorknob. It's cold as ice. I walk over to my bed, get down on the ground, and reach to the farthest corner and grab a black shoebox. In it was a gun I obtained from someone. I sat on my bed, sitting Indian style with a gun in the middle of my bed. I'm staring at it. It was still wrapped up in a dishcloth. It was probably 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. I stripped down to nakedness. Feeling that if I came before God without my clothes on, He'd see my scars, my pain, my disfigurements, and maybe, just maybe, He would let me in. Take pity on me. He would understand, or maybe the devil would. I take another look at my scars in the mirror. I begin to break down. I go over to my bed. unwrap the gun. It's colder than anything I've ever felt. So heavy. I look at it one last time knowing that if I did this, I'd be going to hell. I did not fucking care at this point. I was so alone. I picked it up, put it to my temple. I closed my eyes for the last time. Tears were flooding. I pulled the trigger. To my dismay, it fucking jammed. I opened the chamber, and the bullet was resting halfway. I threw it across the room, across my floor. I cried for hours. I wanted so much for my time of death to be at the scene. Hashtag my time to be death at the scene. I then called a very close friend and told them how much they meant to me. It was late, and she listened. I did not tell her what I had just tried to do, though. She could tell in my voice I needed closure and air, so she sang to me one of my favorite NSYNC songs. Then told me whatever it was, I could get through it. And if anybody could, it would be me. From that moment on, I knew I was meant to be here for a reason. I was meant to do a huge calling, not knowing what it was, but knowing that I was loved. I was something in the sight of a higher power. From that moment on, everything changed. It had to. Fuck, man. Oh. If you're following along, yeah, there's just some scars that you can see on this picture that I was talking about. There's a scar. This looks like a happy trail. It sort of is. It's going down the middle of my stomach, but that had cut me open that way too. But there's some other scars, also some other pictures. But it says on the thing, it says, this isn't the one portrayed in the story. You know, it's minus that big scar where that nephrectomy is. That's a different story. Let's see. So now we'll go to this one. This is the preface of the health chapter. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Is this I think this is just something different. Yeah, this preface, sorry, I'm just reading it really quick. I'm trying to think what I want to talk about. Damn, that was hard. Yeah, that was a crazy time in my life. There was a lot of things that were going wrong during that time. But since then, I've never wanted to do that again, just 'cause I don't know. I don't know how the gun did that. or what it did, and you know, I don't know, it's just yeah, it was just a crazy time in my life. But since then, I've wanted to just be way more optimistic about life. I didn't want my attitude to ever go to that place again. I mean, sometimes like thoughts go in your head, but they're just thoughts, and I just don't act on them. I push them out. And you have to, like, how else was I gonna survive? How else was I going to live if I was gonna be depressed and just not want to be better? You know, like, to me, like, yeah, it goes back to the coincidences, or are things playing out in my life? Did I help design this life? Did I know that all these health struggles were going to happen and that I can be better about it? I tell myself that, it helps to pretend that that's what it's for. Or am I just here and I just got the shit end of the stick? I have in ways people would say that. I've thought it, but at the same time, like I said, you got to push out those thoughts. You got to be better. You got to be strong. You have to do it for just yourself ultimately, but you can try and do it for other people. Do it for people you haven't met. I don't know who this is going to reach. I don't know who's going to help. I hope it's help some people. I hope people understand that, that music and music today, like, I'm very emotional about it. Like, I have the thing where they've talked about, the emotion that goes through your body that you can feel when you have different songs. It feels like a jolt. Those people are getting changed like that. Is very emotional. It goes down to your DNA that they saw on there. Let's see if I can find that really quick for people who are watching online. Sorry, let's see. Emotional sense to music DNA. Let's see if that does anything. Yeah, Neuroscience of Wired. So it was Wired magazine. This is by Jonah Leher. Sorry, said that wrong. This was done on January 19th, 2011. And it says, why does music make us feel? On one hand, music is purely abstract art form, devoid of language or explicit ideas. The stories it tells are subtle in subtext, and yet even though music says little, it still manages to touch us deep, to tickle some universal nerves. When listening to our favorite songs, our body betrays all symptoms of emotional arousal. The pupils in our eyes dilate, our pulse and blood pressure rise, the electrical conduits of our skin is lowered, and the cerebellum, a brain region associated with bodily movement, becomes strangely active. Blood is even redirected to the muscles in our legs. In parentheses, it says, some speculate that this is why we begin tapping our feet. In other words, sound stirs us at our biological roots, as Schopenhauer, I can't even talk right now, as Schopenhauer wrote It is we ourselves who are tortured by the strings. So it's pretty interesting. And they go into that. They did some PET scanning, which, is scanning of the brain. And 212 individuals who responded to advertisements requesting people that experience chills to instrumental music. Scientists narrowed it down to a pool of 10. These were people that most likely got the chills, and so they did all these tests and all this crazy shit, and they have, brain scans of this. So basically these scientists found favorite moments by these subjects that were in this, and by the time they felt these changes in nerves, it went up. They showed different MRIs and scans of the brain, so super interesting with that. But yeah, that's how music is for me. Sorry, gotta take another drink really quick. But we'll get talking about this next chapter really quick. But basically, yeah, like I was saying, you gotta, I don't know, like people ask how I do it sometimes, and most of the time I don't even know how I fucking do it. But it just feels like, what I tell people right now is, this is my life. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks a lot. But you just can't get down on it. And it's easier said than done, and I make it sometimes look easy. But I have times where I break down, where I feel like, why me? I'm still human. I still have emotions. I still, I still hate it, because it does hinder my life. And some people, well, not some people, but they think that for every year of dialysis, it takes 5 years off your life. And so I don't know if that is equivalent with peritoneal, probably less, but I'm over a decade, probably 15, 16 years of my life that's gone away now. It's hard to comprehend at times, if that's true. I don't really want to live like super long, but now with all the weird shit that's coming out, like who knows how long you'll live now. Like if you could become a computer, and download thoughts, but you have different thoughts at different times. Like my thoughts right now of reading these chapters are way different than when I was writing them. It's good that I did it live, like I am doing now. But it's all about attitude. It really is. But we'll get talking more, because some people are like, dude, you need to start reading, start reading your book, start talking about this. I'm trying to think what more is on this preface, as far as if I'm going to be reading more of this, or if I'm going to jump actually into the chapters about the bands. And I don't know which ones I want to do first. I'll probably just start for the first ones, like where I started, like the first band that I posted about on here. And they're not necessarily who I wrote first, because some of them are out of order. But I tried to keep it in order a little bit, or around the same time frame. but I don't know, we'll see. But I'll do this one really quick. Well, not really quick, but I'll talk about it more. I can't really remember what I said in this one. So this is the preface. This was Thursday, November 20th, 2013. This was Thanksgiving night that I wrote this at 7:43 in Avon, Colorado, in apartment F104. The song that I was listening to was the Wombats, Jump Into the Fog. The amount of times that I repeated that song while I was writing this was 9. Why? Because I like to get in the groove, with the same thought process that I was doing. So then after that song happened, it switched to random songs. I might have repeated those songs, who knows. So this is preface, real time, no bullshit. Well, I was supposed to start this on my birthday. That's why I wanted to do a fresh new start at a phenomenal company, which was the Ritz-Carlton, Bachelor Gulch, in a place unknown on February 26, 2013. I am 2 days late, and I have no valid excuse except that this is my first book, and that is known to be the hardest. Oh, and my slight rationalization on this book and how I wanted it to be perfect, but perfection does not come in something tangible. It's acquired, learned, tested, and even then, you always doubt yourself because, well, we are human. I always wanted to be in the right state of mind, environment, and somewhat memorable date for this preface to be me, just typing, not really know what I'm going to say, but just let it flow. This is my first Thanksgiving alone. Well, it's been, sorry. Man. This is my first Thanksgiving alone. Well, it's been interesting, but somewhat like any other day without being around my family and friends, mainly my family. However, I do want to consider some of my friends' family. What I'm listening as just as you see above, the Wombats Jump Into the Fog. This song is very appropriate in my hashtag and IMO, which stands for in my opinion. It was selected at random for what I am about to accomplish and show you as the reader. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to directly call it the reader. I remember learning that in school, and yeah, I never gave a shit because, well, life isn't about following rules. Yes, sometimes we have different views on those situations, on what we as individuals deem as right or wrong. Well, that's free agency, freedom we have in this world. However, respecting one another to the utmost degree is where we fall as a society. Well, one thing that you don't know about me is that I've conducted date, time, location, songs, bands at the beginning of most of all chapters and or songs that I have personally wrote. I do have somewhat of an ADD or tangents I will trail off to here and there, like I am in an alternate universe like Donnie Darko. Maybe just not as elaborate, who knows. Most of my free time writing and notes are very random but enlightening, so try to keep the fuck up. Anyways, this song to me within the title alone makes you ponder, as well as the badass beat about, well, what is fog? Is it life? Relationships? Is it a certain significant other? Is it finding out who you are? Or is it, and then I have in parentheses, at 2:50 in the song, damn, such a great breakdown and outro. Is it about a certain significant other? Is it finding out or is it just getting through the day? Well, I'm here to tell you it's anything you want it to be. For me, is about my adventure in life. This part speaks to me a lot. And it says, I've made some bad decisions. I'll admit that freely. It's just that life tastes sweeter when it's wrapped in debauchery. So drop your map, drop your plan, drop that 5-step program, because there's not an ounce of faith in this leap. It's clear. You feel nothing. Jump into the fog with me. Jump in, jump in, jump in, jump into the fog. So he says that 4 times. So, it makes you think. Yeah, you can sometimes jump into the fog or be tricked to jumping in the fog with someone else. We always feel comfort when it is with someone else, and why shouldn't we? Yet at the same time, we need to do lots of things alone. I feel it makes you a better person. Plus, you gain respect for yourself, and for me, only conform to what you feel. However, it does come with caution. You don't want to become a hermit or a loner or a loser. That's when it can and will go downhill. People still need to have a social balance. So why am I writing this preface? Why am I showing the world what I want and am able to accomplish with this book/business plan / changing the world through music and charity, aka New Age philanthropy? Why? Well, first off, this book is for you. Yes, for you. And for the people that want to know and still believe in something better each day, which is life. Caring about the person on your left and right, because we are all in this fight of life and success as a whole. We are evolving so fast technologically, which makes us so much more capable of many great innovations, ideas, and experiences than what we have ever thought was possible. So let's just fucking do it. Easier said than done, duh, Devin. Now, does this come easy? Oh, fuck no. And fuck yes. Fuck yes if you have advantages, #blessings, that some do not have in life. But for most, regardless, it does not come easy. And why I say easy, life is not easy unless, well, I can't even say that because I have not walked in those person's shoes. However, some people's environments can be damaging success. It all comes down to, in my opinion, attitude. How you want to conduct yourself, represent yourself as a human being, and ultimately accomplish that far-fetched dream. Sorry if my ADD is kicking in. One, because it is a preface and in real time. I constantly explore, I think fast, and I blame that on our society in the United States of America. Everything is so much now. What the fuck? Right now, that wasn't right now, but everybody wants everything right now. It's a love-hate relationship. Right now, it is leaning more towards hate, because life should not be as stressful as some make it out to be. However, at the same time, it has to be stressful. It has to be hard so we can learn and grow. Maybe just not as fucking accelerated as it is. And it's true. Everything does go so fast. It's crazy how fast everything goes in the United States, especially. I mean, different parts of the world go a lot more, probably, well, I know it's not as crazy as in Missouri or Utah as it is in New York or California, like in LA or, just in New York Times Square. I've never been there. I bet it's ridiculous and it's so fast paced. And, New York might be compared to like China and stuff, but man, they have so many people there. And I just learned that, in Singapore over there, just to own a car, it costs you $50,000. I don't know if that was U.S. or if that's Singapore, but the yen. I think it's the yen over there, but man, like crazy. Just to own a fucking car costs $50,000. Nuts. But it shouldn't be as accelerated as this, like it's crazy. Like just trying to do this, I felt like I was accelerated, and it took like two years just for the book to get basically, to where it is now. And then, it's online for free. I wanted to publish it and try to make money so I could get other things going with it, and put more of my effort towards this. And even doing this podcast is taken me forever. So back to this, with how accelerated everything is, that's where your attitude will come into play. I just like people that are so depressed or upset at life that they give up, start to follow rather than make their own path. The only person I am trying to impress is myself, and maybe someone higher, if you believe in that. And it all comes down to doing it for you. But I would be lying if I did not say that for someone else, as fuel does help a lot. Even the best of us ache, suffocate in depression, and need an outlet. So there is a little tangent. Sorry, let's get back to the question. How's this book for you? I believe I am here to let you know that you can achieve anything you want. I'm here to say that you can achieve anything you want, and it does not come without sacrifice and humbling of oneself. I have learned a lot on my journey that you are about to embark on. The journey started with a question that became an idea, then a concept, now a reality that will happen and ultimately change the world. It has taken over my whole life. That awesome thing called timing has been setting up a business idea that will blow away the entertainment industry, cookie cutter culture, and that's a hashtag. It will change the way we as a whole will sense everything in some way or another. It will radiate surreal experiences over and over again that you will never knew was possible. Yes, I'm not being humble as I should right now. I am now jumping into the fog, but with a huge luminescent LED flashlight gun, which means I can see and know exactly what I want to accomplish and see the path. But I need guidance, a mentor. What better person with a humble empire who stands as an exemplar, none other than Sir Richard Branson, now passed down to his daughter Holly Branson of the Virgin Empire. I feel I can relate to both of these beautiful people in more ways than one. But with Holly, because of our age, love for music, arts, determination, and the list goes on and on, yet I'm still speechless by what her father has accomplished, and I still am to this day. I hope to put Virgin back on the map with a hashtag huge semi-untapped demographic, as well as inspiring faith in humanity by this proposal of Liquide Air and Liquide Sessiøns. So Liquide Air, like I was saying, is the predecessor. Like Liquide Sessiøns is this communication sector that I was going to do anyways, and that I was wanting to accomplish, and Liquide Air is that musician's resort, and I'll get talking about that, and that's what this is. Now I'm going to jump into what Liquide Air is, and I want you to know me on a decent level, where I am, and I want you to know me on a decent level, where I am from, what I've experienced, and why all these experiences have led up to a business plan that will ultimately change the world through music and charity. I present to you Pitchography, a tale of Liquide Air, and P.S. Holly Branson. This is right up Virgin Disruptor's alley, and hashtag music segment. So Virgin Disruptors, let's see here, we'll just jump into it here. We'll go there. I'm pretty sure, do they still have the Disruptors on here? I know it was a while ago, but this Disruptors thing that she wanted to do that she had talked about. Let's see. Hold on, I'm just gonna see if they even still talk about it on here. So let's see when their last one was, and it might have been a long time ago. Let's see here. They didn't really jump into it. Let's see if this talks about it. I don't really want to watch this video, but let's see. Is this talking about it? I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, so this is like one of the workshops that they had, but I wanted to see. It says, before you leave, live life better is back. Listen to the self-improve podcast, which can help boost your creativity and resilience and even make you sleep better. So they're talking about that on there. Do they have the Disruptors on here still? This is, if you're watching online, this is the Entrepreneur one, but I could have sworn they still had. So they still have the page. So this is from December 27th, 2016. So they're still, it looks like they're still doing some podcasts. Oh yeah, this is, I did remember listening to this podcast. This was a cool podcast that they talked about. And so this Disruptors, and Richard Branson or Holly Branson or anybody that knows them, if they're listening, I would love to go on here and talk about my dream about wanting to change the world with Liquide Air through this musician's resort. And basically I would be doing a new type of marketing that would just go back to the business and help out charities all over the world. Would start small, probably with lupus and Alzheimer's, because my father has that. And so I'd start with those two and then branch out from there and help out as many people as I can, but also just like use part of my money and give it back to the people throughout my business that I could randomly walk up to, give them a I don't know, like an iPad, or like comp their meal, or whatever I felt like doing. And I'll get more into how big that business is. Let's see here with that preface. So if you're watching, we'll jump back into here. Let's see. There's a thing that says 2016 letter to myself. Let's see if this music runs through me as part of this. So this music runs through me that I'll talk about really quick. This was January 21st, 2016, 5:50 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and this was in Salt Lake. Sorry, I gotta take another drink. So there's a picture here, and this was taken so if you're listening, it's a picture at a concert with a bunch of people with their hands up with a rock symbol, some with a peace sign, and there's a bunch of lights, and it's a pretty dope picture. I took this, and this was at, I think, Walk the Moon concert, like in 2015, 2014, at the complex. But I always tell you, I always read this because it helps out, like, why music and why I want to do this musician's resort. So it says, I feel like one of the reasons that I'm passionate and in so much love, hashtag why don't you just marry music dev, is because although I've fallen in love a few times, I always craved that fairy tale chase of that girl. I relate to the lyrics more because I'm still young in heart, and life to me is about relationships. Yeah, they do come and go, just like everything in life, but there's always a lesson to be learned. I can name you I can name you very specific parts and songs that remind me of family, friends, anybody that has some what touched my life. It can vary from starting out as a word, then a line, then a chorus, then a whole song, and possibly the whole entire album. The crazy thing is that it can change over time, especially if you were battling, pushing out, renewing, whatever the case may be with that individual. Not all of them are happy songs. For me, even the whole tone of the song can change. Hashtag music is fucking wild, especially in my head. Sometimes I wonder if I am even human. Music pumps through me. It's a beautiful thing. It makes you believe. It pushes yourself more. It makes me understand life better because you see it from very different angles. From the artist, and then your personal take, then take into account all the aforementioned items. And so music is just, it's like everything to me. It's my life. Like I go to concerts nonstop. I have a little thing up right now in my fridge that has all the concerts that I want to go to, and it's ranking them because I'm broke right now. Like I don't have a job. You ask like how I get my money. Well, my disease is it's just such a disability. It's called end-stage renal disease that the government helps give me a small portion to help me live. Like it doesn't cover even all my bills, like not even a lot of it, but it's something. And they do that because it helps pay your medical bills because you can't work, and it's not really the government paying me. It's sort of me paying me because it does come out of my Social Security. So yeah, I'm sort of screwed right now if I don't make any money from this, or, hopefully I'll make something, make my dream come true, and I'll meet Richard Branson or Holly Branson or talk to him or FaceTime them or, something. Hopefully something happens, with this social media doing it. But even if it doesn't, like I'm still going to love life and listen to music and do what I can to help people with my positive attitude and show them, like even as shitty as it is, going through chemo and having hip replacements and, going through dialysis again, having a kidney transplant fail. I've had 4 hip replacements and I'm only 33. I don't look or act like I'm 33. I can be pretty immature sometimes, like all of us. Not immature in like a dumb way, but just like having fun and, being young at heart, because I think that helps your thought process and your DNA. Like your attitude does change your DNA. It does, like screw things up if you're not happy about being, happy about life, but this Virgin Disruptors thing is up Virgin's alley. It's real, literally or figuratively, whatever you want to say. Like it's it will help change the world through music and charity. And this place I have is a musician's resort that's both public and private. It has different floors and hotel rooms for the bands to stay at, as well as guests, and the artist can be as loving and happy towards fans or not. Like I have secret passageways and different freight elevators, and it's a restaurant, a record store, salon, makeup store, 2 recording studios. It has a eco-friendly garden on top, and I want to put like those freaking super trees that they have, if they I'll show you guys really quick online. And these are in Singapore, right across from that freaking crazy hotel that's on Netflix now, that they talk about this hotel right here. I forgot what it's called. Shoot. But yeah, these super trees inhabit different species and animals, and they grow around, and it helps with the air, and you can make them look badass. Like we might have a couple, maybe not this big, because they do cost probably a shit ton of money. But here's an aerial view from it. You guys look at it. But it's a cool little park, and it helps with the environment, and it helps bring different species back. And so there'll be those on there, like as time evolves and technology evolves, so does my dream, and I have everything written down. Well, not written down, like most of it, I guess you could say, is either typed out or maybe not. I don't know. Not all of it, I would say. A lot of it's in my head, but different ideas I think I would, that pop in my head that I think I might lose. I'm always carrying around a pen and paper with a Sharpie that I can write down things, or, just in your phone. But those things are way cool. So, like, they'll be, like, super trees. Like, this place I have dreamed up, I've been working on since 2011 in my head. And, just even this right here, I'll show you guys on here. Like, these are all the things I want to do. Like, these are, like, things that will be, with those puzzles and podcasts and prizes, I just have, like, a bunch of things on here talking about that business and what I want to accomplish with it. And it's music based, like I said. And it's going to be... It's just seriously going to change the world. Because I just want to help out so many people. I've been so blessed by different people helping me out with, like monetary, like either money, gift cards, services, just being my friend, listening. I want to do the same, because why wouldn't I want to help out my fellow human beings and my neighbors, if you go back to Christian roots and things like that, like, I don't know, like, it's hard to comprehend how shitty our world can be right now, but there's so much good in the world too, with all the technology and people helping people that they don't even know. But yeah, I would love to go on here, or either go, like, I love Joe Rogan, I love listening to him, and it'd be fun to go on his podcast and talk about this in life, and just the accomplishments I've done with my health and this business and this book that I've been trying to do. So I'm trying to think, like, where I want to end it. We might end it here, but the other podcasts will be coming up. But yeah, this musician's resort is huge. And yeah, I've been working on it since 2011. I have all the recipes for it. I have all the furniture. I have the ware, like, and ware, that means like silver, like the silverware and the cups and the plates and all that crazy shit. Like, I have a cycled menu every 3 months. And that means, like, different cuisine every 3 months, so it keeps people on their toes, because I can cook a lot of awesome shit, like, I learned a lot when I was at the Ritz-Carlton from people, and all the chefs there were way cool, and it was a fun job, but my health, came and it screwed up. I actually had to leave because I had to get a hip replacement, and that was my 4th one. And I got the hip replacement. Oh man, shoot, did I really just do that? Dang, I wonder if that stopped the screen recording. Oh, maybe not. Hopefully you didn't see my password. I might have to change my password now if you saw it. I don't think you did. I think it was all in circles anyways. But I might need to change that setting. So if I accidentally do that again, was everything still recording? Shit, did it stop? Looks like it went still. Okay. So I'm about a minute, or not a minute, I said that last time. I'm about an hour and 45 minutes now, so that might be a good time to stop. But yeah, listen to the other podcasts. I'll be talking more about music that is current and local here in Utah, as well as talking about Virgin or technology that has happened. On my Facebook, I have like thousands, well, not thousands, I probably have 2,000 now, links that I've been saving about random crap to talk about that interests me. But yeah, this will be a tech lifestyle, different podcasts about music. Liquide Sessiøns is it right here. If you're watching online, check out my videos. I'll be putting this up online as well. Tell all your friends. I might be putting it up on Spotify. YouTube just came out with all those new rules and stuff, but if you want to stay up to date, I'll be launching emails maybe here soon, as well as some prizes and gifts if you do sign up, and I'll contact you directly. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. I don't have any money really. I'll probably be doing a donation page and fundraiser page, and let people know what I'm using it for, like try to be as transparent as I can. So you know where, if you do donate, what the money's going towards, and I might give out some prizes here soon. But check out my podcast, check out the Pitchography up here. This podcast is coming soon. As I'm getting it done, the droplets and torrential thoughts might be some different things. I'll be giving out passwords soon for that. So this liquid droplets, it's like my fan base. Everybody has a different thing. Like you have, I guess, like believers, things like that. Taylor Swift, which she has like the Swifties, or I don't know, and other people have things like that. So I'm just sort of doing the same thing, but I like droplets. Droplets, are the rain droplets. You guys are these things. This rain comes down here, and the rain are in, I might design something that has what was I gonna say? It has 16 notes or different notes, music notes coming down, and then the droplets are you guys, and you're gonna be, this is liquid. If you're watching right now, there's the ocean behind this, and I'll do a lot of different things, so like pay attention. Some things are rambling, but some things are going to be like clues and things like that in the podcast. So maybe I was trick rambling. You never know. You could check out my About tab up here. But basically, my tagline is, I'm a chef obsessed with music, gastronomy, fashion, anything entertainment, and awesome people. And keeping on while keeping it real. And, dialysis is a bitch is my other tagline. But yeah, I wrote this in part like as real time, just like I am right now, and why not? It was a whole motto I had for this whole platform, was just also be real as fuck. And so that's why I am. Sorry if it offends you or anything, but if the cussing can happen, people cuss, like everybody knows about it, and it's just a word, it's a sound, you guys, like coming out of your mouth. It didn't mean anything, like different words have different contexts and they change over time, and that's just life, and all these cuss words might not even be cuss words in the future. They could mean something totally different. So when I wrote this, one of these things I'm just going to say really quick, and I'll just try to end it, and we'll continue on the next one. But it says it's November 2nd, 11:03 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Salt Lake City, Utah, for some interesting music adventures and some depressing shit here and there. Well, this is for you. Sounds awesome, right? It won't all be depressing. Just the beginning parts of this will be a little depressing, as these chapters were. It'll pick up. It'll be more positive. I do have some depressing / happy news that it's happening. You know, I did have my transplant and some tests are going, so things are going well. It's not as easy as people think it is to get a transplant. Lots of people still need transplants for different things. I don't know why stem cell research isn't more prominent, because it'll help out a bunch of people. But you know what? You don't make money from sick people, and that's true. I'll leave you with a crazy number that I'll let you know really quick. Just for my dialysis, it costs the insurance in a portion that I have to pay for different things, but it costs the insurance $330,000 a year to take care of me, just for my dialysis treatment. That's not even the doctor visits. That's not even meeting with the transplant team here in Salt Lake City. That's not even the medications I have to pay for and take. That's just strictly for dialysis, because I go 3 times a week, for 4 to 4.5 hours, and you have to have a team of people watching you. You have your nurses and other nurses, and there's other people just in rows with people sitting there just getting dialysis, and I'm the youngest one there, I think, right now. And most of the people are like in their 60s or 70s, and some of them have diabetes. Luckily, I don't have that. But yeah, isn't it crazy? $330,000. Like, Jesus, that's, I don't even know. It costs that much for my kidney. Actually, I think I have a picture of it. Actually, I do. Hold on, let's see. If you're watching online, let's see here. So this is the letter to myself, 2016. I'll probably read that later. But yeah, so this is my transplant financial agreement here. And if I get a kidney from a deceased donor, it's $316,934. If I get it from a living donor, it's $334,377. My annual out of pocket is $6,700. And it breaks down all these costs that my insurance takes care of. And this might actually change, because I didn't have Medicaid back then. I only had Medicare. I just got approved for Medicaid because I hit the year mark. Woohoo! So I guess that's good. I'd rather have transplant before then, but year mark is great. Saving money is great. But people might be like, so why is the living donor more? Well, they have the hospital stays. My insurance pays for all of that. You actually don't get any money for your kidney. It is purely donation. Those little memes talking about your kidney donation, things like that. Yeah, that's not how that works. And that's like black market prices, but I wouldn't really trust a doctor cutting me open, cutting my kidney. That is a vital organ that if it fails, you die. I could die at any point pretty much. So that's scary, but I have a positive attitude. Not saying that helps, but I do my dialysis. I take my medications as I'm supposed to. I have a very strict diet I have to stay on, and yeah, it's crazy. And this is just the first year, like this estimated first year cost. I was just saying that, but so I'll end it there, guys. Thank you for listening. Love you guys. Subscribe to my channel once I get that going, and tell people about it. Hopefully Richard Branson hears this, or some other huge investor like Mark Cuban would be great, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, all these people. But Virgin is the one I'd like to have ultimately, just because all their they have all the businesses for that. Like, it's not cell phones. He actually sold that business. He doesn't even do that in the record company. He has his other records, but the Virgin one isn't actually owned by him anymore. And he does leisure. He does all sorts of things. They have, it's sort of crazy, all the different stuff that they have for Virgin. Let's see here if I can show you really quick. They have different investments, they have different careers. Find a Virgin company. So you try to find this, and he has, this ridiculous racing, active lifestyle, the Virgin Airlines, casinos, Virgin Care, Virgin Galactic up in the space, green fund, health banks, holidays, VIPs, hotels, and that's the other thing, like, it is a hotel, so they have that in there. The Virgin Megastore, which is dope. I remember going to that on the 16th Street mall in Denver, Colorado, but it's not there anymore. It's sold. I think it's now a huge condominium, but they got bank for that lease place right there. He has money, radio, produced, for videos that his son helped out with on there. Virgin Red for AIDS, and his trains and wines. He has a bunch of things that is everything I want to do. Telecom, money, leisure, people, planet. So yeah, that's my dream, guys. Hopefully, it comes true, because it'd be awesome. And sorry, I'm like screwing up here. I don't know what's not letting me. There it goes. Go out. So, thank you guys. I hope you guys have a great night and day, whatever you're listening to, and wherever you guys are in that astrosphere. Who knows where this goes? Have a great day. Love ya. Tell your friends. I hope you guys had a good time, and we are now almost at 2 hours, so it's a good stopping point. Have a super day, and keep to your New Year's resolutions. This was one of my New Year's resolutions, to get this going and just do it live, not even edit it really at all, just because it's live. Got to be transparent in this day and age, because who knows what fake is, So anyways, have a just have a great day. Enjoy life. Wake up, be happy, try to exercise, eat right, be somebody better than you were before yesterday, and today, in the future, and in those astrospheres. Guys, love ya. You can follow my journey. I'll be talking more about all the crazy stuff that's happening through my transplant, and I'll try to show you different videos I have, so keep up to date about that, and I'll talk about that in podcast.